What up, my friends? How you doing? We have gathered for another installment of Commander Crackin. And can I say, what the hell is going on with the weather? I thought we were moving into warmer times, and here I am in a sweater again. So, not really a big fan of that. Not really a big fan. But whatever. Anyways, let me share the live stream link in the Discord, and then we shall do our hellos and go from there. All right. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. Okay. All right. There we go. That's good. Okay. And switch this up so I can see the chat and say some hellos. What up, Jess, Millmaster, Sheba, Error, Nero. Who else is in here? Benjamin, Shelton, Wyla. Who else? Lewis, Juglum, TCG Dude, Cheese, Code, Crawfish, Larry, Heavy Metal. I think that we got everybody. I believe so. So that's good. Oh, and speaking of good, Sheldon with the super chat saying it was my birthday on Wednesday. Great to see you streaming tonight on this fine Saturday with the Commander deck to open. Well, hell yeah, buddy. Happy belated birthday to you, Shelton. Glad you got another one, because the option to not have any more birthdays, that's not a good thing. Just ask Steven Seagal. You know, his famous, I'ma snatch every motherfucking birthday. Or people are like, what are you talking about? What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, man, that's funny. Oh, Nero, you love my videos? Well, thanks for staying up to let me know, buddy. Jess, you just making lies up about me? You making lies about how I'm a streetwalker? Listen, if I could make the money doing it, I would be. If I could make good money as a hooker out there, like, if people just saw me walking by and were like, them butt cheeks is worth money, I'm gonna turn down that money? Right? I don't think so. I'm not going to be like Jesus and turn the other cheek, bro. I'm going to turn both cheeks towards that cash. And Millmaster, I mean, you guys could both be right? What if theoretically, what if you're trying to joke, like Jess's joke is that I'm bleaching all my underwear. Your joke is that I bleach my asshole. But what if one led to the other? Right? What if I did my butthole and then that accidentally ruined a pair of my underwear, and then I just bleached them all to match? Did you think about that? Did you think about that as an option? Cheese, you've had a terrible weekend. Your 2-year-old puppy passed away from heart failure, and you threw your back out in horrible pain 2 days ago. Well, what have you done to piss the gods off, bro? That's rough. That's rough. You're over there talking about how terrible that is, and Sheba's going, I got the cats are better than dogs secret lair. I think that Sheba's dancing on the grave of your dead dog with a commander deck, bro. That's pretty rough. Nero, always waiting for the Magic news, and you're not even from US and Canada. Magic's worldwide, bro. The news is worldwide. Benjamin, what do I think about the Final Fantasy set? I think that it is all right. It's all right so far. You know? It's got a bunch of characters that I enjoy. I don't know. It's somewhere in the middle, because I don't want universes beyond clouding up my Magic the Gathering, but that's what's going on. So just kind of growing to accept that part, you know? Jess, you like making stuff up about me and you don't know why you do it other than it entertains you? Well, that's a perfectly valid reason for doing stuff. Carly coming in, putting cheese in the stranglehold. Choke him, Carly. Choke him. He's got a hurting back. He's weak. He's primed for the pickings. Put him in a headlock. Pap. Pap. Right in the face. Crawfish, go for it. You want to paint stuff and post it for other people to enjoy? Why not? Why not? Sheba, your browser crashed. That's karma. That's karma for doing that dance. For doing that dance, man. Kevin, that's correct. That's correct. We are squirreling. We are squirreling tonight. Cheese, laughter's the best medicine. We're the best. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What up, Aaron? Your bones hurt? Well, been there, bro. Been there. That's it, Nero, exactly. Just accept that universes beyond aren't that beyond anymore. That is pretty much the truth, right? And try and have fun with it. That seems like a good strategy to me. Benjamin, your organs hurt? It's I'm not falling for that one. I'm not falling for that one. My organ hurts. I need someone to massage it. Go look for a hooker, buddy. You're not fooling me. You know? You might fool Zircon. Maybe. Maybe. He might fall for it. Right? If you tell Jess that it's Bigfoot's, then he'll massage it. Oh, all right. So we have the squirreled away BloomBurrow Commander deck to take a look at today. So let us dive into some of that goodness. But first, let's make sure the camera's got a better focus than it does now, right? Pum, 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 pum. Configure that into that and that. There we go. Is that better? That is better. Okay. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Focus. Cheese, when I say my back hurts in videos means something completely different now after pulling your back out for the first time. Oh, you've never experienced it. You've never experienced throwing your back out. It is quite different. There was a substantiated Bigfoot sighting in Michigan. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was substantiated. I'm sure it was substance-based, as in somebody was on some substance. Dun, 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 dun. We're going in for the squirrel action. So this is Hazel of the Root Bloom. Okay. Not from the top, dum-dum. You gotta go in from the bottom. Juglum! Sounds like squirrels have a good life, buddy. Sounds like squirrels are living the good life, son. Alright, so we've got the deck. We got the deck. What up, Austin? So, there's the deck, and what extras do we got? We got the little fold-out inserts, which I don't even bother reading anymore because they don't really seem to add that much zazzle overall to me, so I don't really care. We got the deck box. We got the deck box, buddy. TCG, dude, you knew you're old in that moment when you threw your back out. Bro, I threw my back out picking up a box of tissues that had one tissue in it. One tissue, man. That's crazy. All right. So, we got the squirrel. We'll do the squirrel deck first, obviously. Heavy metal, you can't type your birds bit the tip of your thumbs off. Well, keep your pants zipped up, son. You don't want to have another kind of tip emergency, right? Sometimes the straw breaks the camel's back when there's no weight on it. I mean, that's how it goes. That's how it goes, buddy. All right. We got Hazel of the Root Bloom. Remembering you as one tissue, man. I mean, that just makes it sound like you just use one tissue when you go for a tug storm, bro. You're just going to be considered Mr. Efficiency. All right, so Hazel of the Root Bloom is a green, a black, and 2 for a 3/5 legendary squirrel druid. Tap, pay 2 life. Tap X untapped tokens you control. Add X mana in any combination of colors. At the beginning of your end step, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. If that token's a squirrel, instead create 2 tokens that are copies of it. Okay, so you can just tap treasure tokens, food tokens, squirrel tokens, whatever, make a whole bunch of mana, and this thing just makes an extra token every turn too. Seems pretty strong, honestly. And then the other option is the Odd Orcane Acorn Gang. A green, a black, and 3. 5/5 legendary squirrel warrior with menace, trample, and reach. Squirrels you control have tap. Target squirrel gets +2/+2 and trample till end of turn at sorcery speed. And whenever one or more squirrels you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Okay. A coastal piracy on top of 5/5 menace, trample, and reach, and giving all your squirrels tap to boost abilities. That's goofy as hell. That's goofy as hell. And Millmaster gifted a membership to Yamagoro. Nicely done. Nicely done. Who is better, Chatterfang or Hazel? I'm guessing most people would probably choose Chatterfang, right? I feel like from a gut level, Chatterfang is probably going to be your number one choice. Millmaster's extending his protection to you, Yamagoro. You're safe. Garuk Cursed Huntsmith. What the heck? These cards feel so weird on the back, man. I thought I felt it on a previous card. Yeah. These are grit-tastic on the back. All right. Garuk Cursed Huntsman. He's had some surgery, Larry. He's found his inner ferret? Is he a ferret? So he's 6 mana, 5 loyalty, 0, create 2/2 black green wolf creature tokens with when this creature dies, put a loyalty counter on each Garuk you control, -3, destroy target creature, draw a card, and -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control, have +3/+3 and trample. Is he a badger? Is he a badger? I don't know. What up? Vault the Jolly Baloney Man deck? Jess, you remember a time last year when people gifted so many memberships? You had multiple membership messages for like 5 months with multiple different streams. Nice. Nice. Nero, you're taking off? All right, buddy. See you later. All right, we got Chittering Witch, a black and 3 for a 2/2. When it enters, make a number of 1/1 black rats equal to the number of opponents you have, and a black and 1 sack a creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 till end of turn. Well, with the amount of squirrels this deck's going to be churning, that feels like it's pretty solid, right? Insatiable Frugivore. What the hell? All right. He's a rat who looks almost like a bat. A black and 3, 2/4. When he enters, create a food token. Then you may exile 3 cards from your graveyard. If you do, repeat this process. A black and 3, sack X foods. Creatures you control get +X/+0 and gain menace until end of turn. I mean, you can turn a big graveyard into a bunch of food tokens, and then a bunch of food tokens into a big smackdown. So that doesn't seem too bad at all. That doesn't seem too bad at all. And now after complaining about it being too cold, now all of a sudden I'm too hot. I'm going through my hot flashes. This is what happens when you become a grandma. I'm an old lady. Heavy Metal, you got the last month needed to hit a silver on gifted memberships. Nice. Oh, speaking of gifted memberships, Bo Falcon gifted one to Larry. Thanks, Bo Falcon. You're the best, buddy. All right, what do we got next? Moonstone Eulogist. Okay, it's giving eulogies. 2 black and 3, 4/4 flyer. Whenever an opponent dies, whenever a creature an opponent control dies, you make a blood token, and whenever you sack an artifact, put a +1/+1 on him and gain a life. That's okay. I mean, obviously he loves treasure tokens, right? He loves him some treasure tokens. Not too shabby. What up, True? Oh, you missed BloomBurrow? BloomBurrow's awesome. I love BloomBurrow. That's a crazy set to have missed out on. All right, we got Swarmyard Massacre. 2 black and 3 sorcery. Create 2 1/1 green squirrels. Then each creature that isn't an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel gets -1/-1 till end of turn. For each creature you control that's an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you can build up a bunch of little donks and then wipe out all their guys. Corner, what's up, buddy? Oh, 10-year wedding anniversary, so you have to bounce. Well, enjoy, buddy. Enjoy, my man. Otto, you missed the start of the unboxing. Well, you can always check it out on the archive later, my friend. All right, Hazel's Brewmaster. A black and 3, 3/4 squirrel warlock with menace. Whenever it enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and create a food token. And foods you control have all activated abilities of all creatures exiled with their... What? Food you control have all activated abilities of all creature cards you've exiled with Hazel's Brewmaster. This is dumb. This is dumb. Like, what the hell? That's such a crazy ability. What up, Dominic? That's right. You jealous? You jealous? Woe Strider. A black and 2, 3/2. When it enters, make a 0/1 goat. Sack another creature to scry 1. And it's got escape. So for 2 black and 3, exile 4 cards from your graveyard. And you can cast it from your graveyard. And it escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So obviously that's going to be at war with things like what was it? The Swarmyard? Something like that? Swarmyard Massacre? Nope, that's not it. Where's the one that cared about a bunch of stuff being in your graveyard? Well, for the stuff that really cares about being in your graveyard and getting eaten, maybe it was the food making guy. Either way, multiple things want to eat your graveyard. Oh, we got Saw in Half. Saw in Half. A black and 2 instant, destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of the creature, except their power and toughness are half of the originals. Not too shabby. Heavy Metal, you'll get a shield again soon. You're close to gold. Well, you don't lose your progress, so don't worry about that, my friend. Don't worry about that. That's one of the things I like about YouTube's membership system, is that your shields get progressively more aged and stay that way. Millmaster going for another one-shot membership. This time giving it to Nice. Oh, nicely done, Millmaster. See what I did there? I used his name. All right. Ogre Slumlord. 2 black and 3. 3/3. Whenever another non-token creature dies, you may create a 1/1 black rat creature token, and rat you control have Death Touch. So whenever you or your opponent loses a creature, you get to make a 1/1, and they all have Death Touch. Not too shabby. Oh, Bo Falcon goes 1. Oh, Bo Falcon gifting a membership as well to Nero. Nero had to leave. He had to leave because how late it is, so he'll probably be surprised tomorrow. Good job, Bo Falcon. Otto, wasn't Saw in Half originally from some unset? Yes. Yes, it was. That was the Infinity set or whatever, where they decided that a bunch of silver border cards could be blackboarded and just made them blackboarded. Oh, Decree of Pain. Nice. 2 black and 6 sorcery. Destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. Draw a card for each creature destroyed this way. And it also cycles for 2 black and 3. And when you cycle it, all creatures get -2, -2. Not too shabby at all. Use it as a big board wipe or a mini board wipe and draw a card, right? And then we got Gourmand's Talent. 1 green for an enchantment class. During your turn, artifacts you control are foods in addition to their other types and have 2. Sack this artifact, you gain 3 life. So wait, you could use this in combination with that other thing that gives your food stolen abilities with Hazel, and you could get really dumb, right? You get really dumb with it. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, create a 3/3 raccoon creature token. That's all right. I mean, you have to pay 4 mana to get there. And then 4 more. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Okay. I can get down with that. That's pretty sweet. All right. And we got Rootcast Apprenticeship. A green and 3 sorcery. Choose 3, and you can choose the same one more than once. Put 2 +1/+1s on target creature. Create a token that's a copy of target token you control. Target player creates a 1/1 green squirrel creature. Or target opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact. Okay. All right. Probably one of those ones that you're going to enjoy when you see it in practice. I do like the artwork. They're crafting some kind of magical artifact here, and you can see the frog has his looking glass. I'm gonna check out all the details, bro. Oh, Endray's Forerunners. 3 green and 5. 7/7 Vigilance, Trample, Haste. When it enters, other creatures you control will get +2/+2 in Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. Smash this city to pieces, says the flavor text. I love big, dumb, green nonsense, and this is big, dumb, green nonsense. I've won a bunch of cube games with this dude. Paul Falcon says, Mill and him are out sniping peeps. Watch out, you might get hit, but it's a good kind of hit. Shield Rain. Instead of needing a shield, you get a shield, right? All right, what do we got next? A Scurry of Squirrels. A green and 2, 2/2 Myriad. This one looks like it should have flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Weird. I mean, the double Myriad is pretty wild, right? Making a bunch of tokens. They're all going in different directions, but Juglum, flowers, coffee, and chocolate eclairs. You're living life right, buddy. Larry, you run Endray's Forerunners in your Ruby deck? Nice. All right, we got Arasta of the Endless Web. Rasta Man, 2 green and 2. Get you a 3/5 with reach. Whenever opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach. Giant Spider really has stepped up since the old days, you know? Then we got Deep Forest Hermit. 2 green and 3, 1/1, vanishing 3. When it enters, create 4 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Squirrels you control get +1/+1. So this is essentially like a variation on what, like Deranged Hermit, but them trying to get around the whole reserve list thing. Oh, then we got Toski. I love Toski. 1 green and 3, 1/1, can't be countered, indestructible, has to attack each turn, which does suck. But whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. It's gross. Gross. Oh, Beastmaster's Ascension. 1 green and 2 with a Calamity Beast on it. Cool. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you can put a quest counter on the Ascension, and as long as the Ascension has 7 or more counters on it, creatures you control get +5/+5. So beefy. Nuh-uh, Jess, because I take a D supplement. So there. Nice. You think all the BloomBurrow decks are good? I think all the BloomBurrows are good. In my opinion, you're double qualifying it there. Don't worry. They are good. Second Harvest. 2 green and 2 instant. For each token you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. This is so much more fun than the original Second Harvest artwork from Innistrad. These little bunny guys bringing in the old, what is it? My brain wants to say broccoli, but they're cauliflowers. Bringing in the cauliflower harvest, right? Shamanic Revelation. 2 green and 3 sorcery. Draw a card for each creature you control. And it's got Ferocious. You gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Was this mythic at one point? I feel like this might have been mythic in the cons block. Oh, there's Chatterfang right there. 1 green and 2, 3/3 legendary Squirrel Warrior with Forest Walk. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. And sack X squirrels for a black. Target creature gets +X, -X till end of turn. So just any tokens you're making, slap some squirrels onto that too. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Casualties of War. What, did they just have some old Ixalan artwork kicking around they needed to use? Right? Because that's what it looks like. This is definitely, it's Conquistadors and Dinosaurs. 2 green, 2 black, and 2. Sorcery. Choose 1 or more. Destroy target artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. You can get a lot of value out of this. You can 5 for 1, depending, right? For a format that claims Singleton as one of its features, they sure make a lot of functional reprints. This is true. This is true. Windgrace's Judgment. A green, a black, and 3 instant. For any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. Okay. Instant speed, smoke 1 of each of your opponent's things. That's okay. That's alright. Maskwood Nexus is next up. 4-cost artifact. Creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for your creature spells and creatures in the graveyard. 3 and tap, make a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature with changeling. So it's all the creature types. Then we got Academy Manufactor. 3 cost, 1/3. If you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create 1 of each. Feels pretty gross. Pretty gross. What up, Nico? You play this commander? Nice. Then we got some lands. Temple of Malady, Woodland Cemetery, Necroblossom Snarl. Oh, Oran Reef the Vastwood. That's a good one. So, enters battlefield, taps for a green, or tap, put a +1/+1 on each green creature that entered the battlefield this turn. Make a bunch of squirrel tokens, beef them up. Oh, they got Swarm Yard in here too. Excellent. Taps for a colorless, or tap it to regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. Once upon a time, they had a mammoth graveyard originally in Magic, where that you could use to regenerate elephants and mammoths, and this is a similar kind of vibe. We got Exotic Orchard with a very, very nice looking harvest in it. Llanowar Wastes, Grim Backwoods, taps for colorless, or pay a green, a black, and 2, sack a creature, draw a card. That's not too shabby, because you're going to have a bunch of little donks to just fire into it like nothing. Viridescent Bog, Twilight Mire. Oh, the Gilded Goose. What up, everyday? How you doing, buddy? All right, we got Gilded Goose next. The pseudo Birds of Paradise, right? Where you have to sack a food to make your mana, but it can generate more food and comes with a free food. So 1 green for a 0/2, makes a food token when it shows up, pay a green and 1 and tap it, make a food token, and tap and sack a food to add 1 mana of any color. Not too shabby. Hey, Chitter Spitter! A green and 2, the beginning of your upkeep, you can sack a token. If you do, put an acorn counter on it. Squirrels you control get +1/+1 for each acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. And 1 green and tap it, make a 1/1 green squirrel token. So it literally gives you the tokens that you can sacrifice to this thing. It's pretty wild. You just got a squirrel here with a little hand crank and a magical device that creates acorns. Maelstrom Pulse. A green, a black, and 1. Destroy target non-land permanent and all of the permanents with the same name. So, obviously, amazing when you want to wipe out tokens. Great as normal removal too. Just get rid of something for 3 mana, but if there's token copies, they're all gone. They're all gone. And then we got Beladros Witherbloom. A green, a black, and 5. 4/4 flying. Elder Dragon. Beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with when this creature dies, you gain 10 life. Pay 10 life. Untap all lands you control. Activate only once each turn. The pay 10 life feels a lot grosser in Commander, doesn't it? That's pretty nuts, man. Then we got Idol of Oblivion. 2-cost artifact. Tap it to draw a card, but you can activate that only if you made a token this turn. 8, tap and sack it. Make a 10/10 Eldrazi. Just out of nowhere. All these little squirrels. And then boom. Done. Just done. Just get a big fat Eldrazi. Sword of the Squeak. 2-cost artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control with base power or toughness 1. Whenever a hamster, mouse, rat, or squirrel you control enters, you may attach Sword of the Squeak to that creature. That's fun. That's fun. And if you have a bunch of little donks, that's going to be a big beefer too, right? Then we got Morbid Opportunist, a black and 2 for a 1/3. Whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once a turn. That's what keeps it from being way too busted. We got Plague Crafter, a black and 2 for a 3/2. When he comes out, everybody sacks a creature or a planeswalker. And each player can't discard a card. That's pretty good as far as I come into play sack abilities go. Nadir's Nightblade is next. It is 1 black and 2 for a 1/3. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That's pretty sweet, man. You know, all your little squirrels get fed into the meat grinder. This is going to mess them up. Just sacking things to the Chitter Spitter is also going to activate this. Plumb the Forbidden, a black and 1 instant. As an additional cost to cast it, you can sack 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy this for each creature sacked this way. You draw a card and lose a life. Yeah, this could be really dumb. You could smoke a bunch of your own dudes and draw like a fiend. Bastion of Remembrance. I remember this from the Eldraine days. This is a solid card. 1 black and 2. When it comes out, make a 1/1 white human soldier. And whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So obviously just incentivizes you to keep running in with your little horde of guys and not care what happens to them. What up, Andrew? We got Cash Grab, a green and 1 instant, mill 4 cards. You can put a permanent from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you controlled a squirrel or returned a squirrel to your hand this way, you also get a food token. Pretty underwhelming, right? Chatter Storm, 1 green and 1 sorcery. Create a 1/1 green squirrel token, but it's got Storm, so it's going to copy itself for every other spell cast that turn, so you can make a bunch of donks. But, I mean, there's just better things to storm off with, right? So, from a storm perspective, kind of whatever. As a way to get some extra squirrels, that's cool. Moldervine Reclamation is 1 green, 1 black, and 3 for an enchantment that says whenever a creature you control dies, you gain a life and draw a card. So this would go great with Plumb the Depths. Sack a bunch of dudes, you're going to lose life, but then you're going to gain life for every dude you sacked. And the artwork is pretty sweet. This statue looks pretty dope, man. Poison Tip Archer, green, a black, and 2, 2/3 reach, death touch. Whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life. I do like that there are a bunch of cards that will punish your opponent when you lose your little squirrely durlies, you know? Ravenous Squirrel is a hybrid green-black, and it's a 1/1. Whenever you sack an artifact or creature, put a +1/+1 on it, and a green, a black, and 1, sack an artifact or creature, gain a life, and draw a card. So this is a good way to refill your hand up, and also to activate those other things that punish your opponent. Then we got Skyfisher Spider, a green, a black, and 2 for a 3/3 with reach. When it enters, you can sack another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent. Pretty good. And when this dies, you can gain 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard. If you do, you have to exile them. But this is some useful removal that can also give you some life as well, man. What up, DB? Jess, they couldn't put Deranged Tournament in the deck because it's on the reserve list. Then we got Binding of the Old Gods. A green, a black, and 2. And it is a saga that the first step is destroy target non-land permanent opponent controls. Then you search your library for a forest card, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then creatures you control gain death touch till end of turn. Pretty underwhelming. Not too exciting. Then we got some land action. Golgari Rot Farm, Jungle Hollow, Haunted Mire. Then on to a Nested Shambler. Nested Shambler is 1 black for a 1/1. When it dies, create X 1/1 green squirrels where this guy's power is. So whatever it is, that's how many squirrels you get. Not too shabby. Millmaster with another membership gift. This time to Fart Code. Enjoy it. You got to live by the code. All right. We got Deadly Dispute. A black and 1 instant. Additional cost to cast it. Sack an artifact or creature. And then you draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. Not too bad for instant speed sack action, right? Oh, Zulapur Cutthroat. Nice choice. 1 black and 1, 1/1. When it or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So another one to punish them for your donks going. Then we got a Squirrel Lord, a Sovereign. 1 green and 1, 2/2. Squirrel Noble. All other squirrels you control get +1/+1. And he's got like a little crown almost, right? He's got that royalty vibe. What up, Wildfire? How you doing? Then we got Prosperous Innkeeper. A green and 1 for a 1/1. When it enters, create a treasure token. And whenever another creature you control enters, you gain a life. So obviously a very nice thing to see when you're going to be making a bunch of little dudes. We got Haywire Might. 1 mana for a 1/1. When it dies, you gain 2 life. Pay 1 green. Sack it. And you get to exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. The exiling it's pretty strong. This is a pretty strong card for a cheap little dude. He's pretty strong, boys. He's pretty strong. Heavy Metal, you bought $500 worth of Easter candy that was marked down 90%. You bought a lot of candy then, bro. You bought a lot of candy. Oh, speaking of candy, Bo Falcon giving out some candy in the form of another membership. Hell yeah, hooking up Tobin. Nicely done, Bo Falcon. Nicely done, buddy. You are a tireless provisioner of shields. All right, so tireless provisioner is pretty sweet, right? It's 1 green and 2 for a 3/2. Whenever land you control enters, create a food token or a treasure token. Amp up your mana or amp up your life action. Either or. JH, the squirrels are insane. You're not wrong, brother. You're not wrong, man. So, Squirrel Nest. 2 green and 1, enchant land. An enchanted land has the ability to tap to make a 1/1 squirrel. Once upon a time, this card was a huge deal. Like a huge deal. What up, Farky? How difficult, expensive would this deck be to upgrade? It feels like it has a lot of the stuff that it would need already. There aren't a ton of cards that I've seen where I'm like, okay, this sucks, take it out, you know? Take it out. Gianna, Cadbury eggs are made different for each region and country. Yeah, the Cadbury eggs you get in the UK versus the Cadbury eggs in Canada are definitely different. And I imagine the ones in America are even worse because the stuff I've had from America is terrible. Honored Dre Leader. 1 green and 2 for a 1/1 trampler. When he enters, put a +1/+1 on him for each other squirrel or food you control. And whenever another squirrel or food you control enters, put a +1/+1 on him. All right, so when he shows up, he boosts all your guys. And then whenever food or squirrel shows up, they boost him. That works. What up, Thompson? How's it going, man? Is Earthcraft legal in Commander? I don't think so. Maybe. Terra Sunder. 1 green and 1. It's an instant with a kicker of a black and 1. So, exile target artifact or enchantment. If the spell is kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. Pretty good. You know, green smoke and an artifact or enchantment for 2 is normal. Being able to attack 2 more mana on and get rid of anything. That's all right. That's all right. MS, Yigra from the main set is a slam dunk. That's true. There's a lot of food. There is a lot of food in this deck, so that would fit pretty well. Wolf Willow Haven, a green and 1 enchant land. Whenever enchanted land's tapped for mana, its controller adds an extra green. 1 green and 4. Sack it. Create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. This feels like a really random include, you know? We got Putrefy, a green, a black, and one instant. Destroy target artifact or creature. It can't be regenerated. I remember how amazed I was by this card when it first came out back in the old Ravnica days. And I was like, wow, it's just 3 mana, destroy an artifact or creature with no downside, and it can't be regenerated? It still feels crazy to me. Then we got the Arcane Signet, the Bat version. A Golgari Signet. Talisman of Resilience. Oh, yeah, the Sol Rings look so awesome in these ones. I really do dig the vibe of it. Oh, my God, they put Skull Clamp in this? Wait, Earthcraft isn't banned in Commander. Okay, cool. Skull Clamp is so nuts, man. Originally, this was supposed to give the equipped creature +1/+1. But they changed at the last minute to be -1, not realizing what a draw engine this creates with little 1/1 donks and stuff. So this just basically reads, pay 1 mana, sack a squirrel token, draw 2 cards in this deck. Gross! Gross! Tyler, you'd recommend Bloodroot, Apothecary, and Camellia the Seed Miser for upgrades. Yep, I can see that working. Terramorphic Expanse. Back into lands. Path of Ancestry. Evolving Wilds. Command Tower with very cool artwork. Tranquil Thicket. Bojuka Bog. Oh, this one's alright. When it enters, exile target player's graveyard. So you can just slap that out and nuke someone's graveyard. Let's see, what else do we got? Tainted Wood, Barren Moor, and then a bunch of swamps, and then a bunch of forests, and then a bunch of forests, and then we got our little, look at that. I do like the squirrels actually like being bedecked in finery. Having a little outfit is fun. So you got a squirrel and a treasure token, a squirrel and a treasure token, squirrel and a food token. We got a random 10/10 Eldrazi from that one artifact. A clue token. That's kind of cool, actually. You can see the tree bleeding sap and the frog using this as a clue to figure out what's going on. Where's the Calamity Beast been? That's cool. We got a pest token and a shapeshifter. We got a spider token and a blood token. A human soldier from Ikoria and the Garruk Wolf token. We got a rat and raccoon combo, and another rat and raccoon combo, and then a goat and another different kind of wolf. All right. All right, not too shabby. Not too shabby. True, it shows how insane Magic can be now that some of these cards aren't as big of a deal for people. Agreed. Agreed. Heavy Metal, you noticed Europe had a different Cadbury manufacturer? Yeah, I believe the best Cadbury stuff is in Europe. Okay, we're going to crack into that pack in a second. I need to get some more water. So it's intermission time, my friends. And I'll be right back. Keep going, baby. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Oh, I didn't put on the intermission thing, did I? Oh, well, you know what? I got to put it on. I got to put it on for one rotation. For one rotation. Don't be a dink. Use my Amazon link. When Hatchet goes for a drink, bookmark that Amazon link. Don't be a bitch. You gotta scratch that itch. Bookmark that Amazon link. I got fucking bills to pay, y'all. Use my Amazon link. This is gonna take some work. All right, there we go. I fixed it. The universe is properly in balance now. All right, so we're good. Hold on, though. We're not on the right angle. We ain't on the right angle. The right angle. Does anything good come out of these collector packs? Yeah. You can get anything that you would get in a regular collector booster. So you can get like in the Lord of the Ring ones, you could get the One Ring and all this kind of stuff. So yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let's see what's in here. Kevin, focus the luck. Focus the luck. Okay. What do we got? We got Mockingbird. We got an alternate style Mockingbird, which is 1 blue and X for a 1/1 flyer. You can have it enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield with mana value less than or equal to the amount of mana spent to cast Mockingbird, except it's a bird in addition to its other type and has flying. So you can put it out as a little 1/1 flying donk if you want, or you can use them as a flying clone variant. That's all right. That's all right. And then we got a foil Coruscation Mage. It's kind of underwhelming to get a random foil uncommon, but at least it's a good foil uncommon, so there is that. That makes it a slight bit better. A tiny bit. Oh. Let's pop these into the box here. Alright, there we go. So yeah, overall, not too shabby. Not too shabby of a deck. It looks pretty decent out of the box. It doesn't look like it needs to be completely overhauled like some of the decks do, because some of the Commander decks coming out of the box are terrible. But the BloomBurrow ones all seem to live up to a particular standard. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, I feel like out of the ones that I've opened, the BloomBurrow ones appear to be a bit stronger. Heavy metal, yep, you need to have your birds have hexproof, or they're gonna get bolted, boy. That's how it works. That's how it works. Chug them, no problem. Glad you enjoyed it, bro. I do like that they include those fun little bonus boosters, you know? Give you a little bit of extra juice at the end. I guess some people might open them right away. But, I don't know. It just seems to me like that's what you save for. It's the dessert, you know? The deck is the dinner, and that's the dessert. So that's what you follow it up with. We're still making our way through the Record of Ragnarok man versus god battles, where it seems like it takes 4 episodes to resolve every fight, and a lot of that is seeing the entire backstory for each individual fighter. So you're going to see the backstory from the guy on the one side, backstory from the guy on the other side, and it definitely feels kind of slow with not as much fighting as you'd expect. Kevin, yep, some minor tweaks, and the Squirrel deck will be a real contender, 100%. True, you wanted to see this deck. To be honest, it was a cool surprise. I mean, that's lucky, right? You just happen to come to a stream and it's like, wait a minute, you're actually looking at a commander deck that I wanted to check out. That works out. James, add coat of arms. Yep, coat of arms would be beastly in that. You make a bunch of tokens and now all of a sudden they are just a massive problem. Coat of arms is a fun one. The Wizards hasn't reprinted in a while, have they? Jess, I got hot where you are. Eh? It's been cool here all day. It's been cool, threatening rain, honestly. So, did some mundane stuff today. Went and picked up new measuring cups because I broke the last one making bread. They have like Betty Crocker measuring cups at the dollar store, right? I guess because Betty Crocker went from being a big brand name that everybody knew to being a cheapo garbage brand or something. It kind of surprised me to see them at the dollar store. I was like, you guys are dollar store level now? It used to be like a big name thing. And whatever. We got their measuring utensils. And they worked fine for the most part. But I was scooping out some flour and the cup part just snapped. It just straight up snapped. So went back to the dollar store again to get more measuring cups. But this time, instead of getting the Betty Crocker, got these metal ones that seem like they're put together way better. And went around and looked at like the HomeSense and other like home goods stores or whatever, and they were selling their measuring cups for 3 or 4 times as much money, and they did not look any different to me at all, like in the slightest. Goddard, what's going on, brother? Nest, they reprinted it in Lost Caverns. I feel like they used to reprint it more frequently. True, bro. Air conditioning is amazing when you've got to deal with the heat. Like, the last place we lived at was sweltering. It was insane. The sun would cook the building from the outside, and our apartment was directly above the kitchen of a restaurant. And so it got super hot, like super hot. And that place, the bedroom did not have a window because it was like in the middle of the building. So it just didn't have a window, which it was brutal in the summertime, man. I do not miss that at all. At all. Juggling, you buy Tupperware? Oh, do they make measuring cups and stuff too? God, are you going to a Ren Fest tomorrow? Nice. Have fun, man. Have fun. Renaissance fairs. I've never been to one, but they seem really cool. I feel like my life is somewhat lacking in the going places to do stuff realm. You know? I mean, not completely. Obviously, I got to go to the Shattering event a few months ago, which was really nice. But I don't know. I'm feeling lately like I'm not going to enough places and doing enough stuff in the most vague way. Like, I don't know how to 100% quantify it. What's the right amount? Why do I feel this way? But that has been the feeling that I've been having. Jess, you have AC, but you like the heat, so you choose not to use it. Well, there you go. You win then. If you're enjoying your environment and you don't got to spend to run the AC, that's a win, bro. Goddard, have I seen the new Google video AI thing? The videos, the examples you've seen today are scary. No. What are you talking about? True, you have a cheap measuring set you picked up years ago. Well, that's what it feels like. It feels like for measuring cups, you don't need a big, expensive, crazy set of them, right? You can just grab whatever, as long as they work. I just didn't want to get the same cheap plastic ones that broke just from being used. I guess that's the difference. Do they break from being used? Casey, enjoy a turkey leg at the Renaissance Fair. I mean, you got to get something like that if you go to one, right? Got it. You're going to buy a really nice archery bow there tomorrow? Sweet. That's cool, man. Bows are awesome. Fallout, yep, 30th anniversary is the most overpriced garbage ripoff Magic product so far. So far. Millmaster, don't use plastic if you can afford Pyrex. Always makes me think of Phyrexians. I have like Pyrex glass measuring cups, like the big ones that you pour for water. I'm talking about the small ones, though. Do they make like small ones too? Austin, I opened up a commander deck here. So it's the BloomBurrow commander deck. Goddard, Google VEO3 AI. Just tell me. Just tell me. I can't be bothered. I can't be when people are like, just Google this. I almost never do, you know? Just tell me. Just tell my lazy brain what it was that you saw and why it freaked you out. You know? Metal? They're metal, Millmaster? What? I thought that was glass. Borosilicate glass measures are nice and non-reactive. Well, look at you, you fancy boy. Non-reactive. Well, I'm hyper-reactive. Oh, man. Yeah, if it's getting freaked out just because the AI videos are like super realistic, I mean that's where we're getting. You're not going to be able to trust anything you see as a video, right? Jess, you saw it. It's making scenes of real people that act out what you want and say what you want and look like anyone. I mean, that's the next step, isn't it? That sounds like where we're going. The future is just going to be bizarre. I mean, I guess it makes it easier for liars too, because they can just somebody be like, no, that's fake. That's generated. They didn't catch me sleeping with your sister. That's AI. Heavy metal, man, it's taken you a long time to get recovered from that storm, huh? Millmaster, I'll react to those, bro. The progression, though, is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. You have to see it. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Larry, deepfakes are going to become more problematic. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Someone sells a ring that adds a fifth finger so things can't be used in court. Well, look, AI generated. Put on a ring that makes it look like you got an extra finger. That is one of the big giveaways, isn't it? Goddard's going to the Tennessee Renaissance Festival. Heavy metal, your insurance still hasn't paid out. You paid a bunch out of pocket. That sucks, buddy. That sucks. Gianna, you'd like to see what abilities Tyler Durden has? Wouldn't that be like a flip card, you know? Probably. Yeah, the whole technology AI thing is an absolutely wild thing that we're dealing with now. It's crazy how backwards we seem as animals in some ways, and then how absolutely astounding the technology that we've created is. True, insurance in your experience is often unreliable. It makes sense. Insurance is in the business of taking your money. They're not so much in the business of paying out if they can avoid it, you know? It's like when you're like an individual if you don't work for like a company or you don't have like a government plan, you can't just go and get on some insurance plan where it's like, well, can't you just buy insurance and then, you just spend less money overall? And it's like, the insurance companies aren't giving away money. They only accept like groups of people like this because they know some people won't be claiming on the insurance and they'll come out ahead. There's no random thing for individuals. You just get hosed. You just get hosed. Jess, you can't wait to hear my take on the new hero in Thunderbolts. Oh, I mean, I'm going to have to see that at some point. I actually already saw the new, what's it called? Final Destination. And it was so middle of the road. Just middle of the road. Mostly boring, honestly. Joglin says, want me to wrap a dead fish in a newspaper and go over there with you? We'll get your check written. They won't even know. You think the sleep with the fishes thing is something they're even going to know, bro? They're going to be like, can you take your fish and chip, whatever it is, out of here, please? Get it on up out of here. JC, is there still an ongoing postal strike in Canada? I mean, technically, kind of. They went on strike right before Christmas, and it didn't turn out the way they wanted it to. They got forced back to work, but the strike was like, or it's like a pseudo strike or something like that, where they were told they had to get back to work until May, and now they're doing a kind of strike where they won't do any overtime and they're only working their regular hours and stuff. So there's technically a postal strike going on now, kind of ish. Kind of. It doesn't feel like it's going to have any real effect. I mean, there's a bunch of people I like at the post office. I like them and I feel for them because it sucks to be in a situation where your job's just going to get downgraded, basically. It's like they got the union and it's like everyone needs to get paid union rates and they're fighting against anybody coming in and doing part-time work or like they're fighting any kind of flexibility, but they don't really have the ability to do that. And by that I mean Canada Post is a government entity that's just losing money. It's losing money at an absurd rate. Canada Post doesn't offer better prices or better service than any of the privately owned courier companies. So you have a situation where they're slower and more expensive, and they're insisting that all new workers are brought in at the same standard of pay and everything else, but it's literally unfeasible in today's market and world and what it is, what they want. Like they're never going to get what they want because what they want isn't connected to reality anymore, and they don't have any real bargaining power ultimately. Like if you can't pull it off by stalling out Christmas for weeks, that's what they did. They started striking for weeks before Christmas, and that's your biggest power play. That's your biggest power play. If that doesn't turn into public support, which it didn't, the public did not rally behind them, you just end up ruining people's Christmas and also proving that at the strongest point that you have, where you should be able to bring everything to its knees, to a screeching halt, and you don't accomplish your goal. Like, you couldn't pull it off with a full strike before Christmas. And now you think you're going to pull it off with a we won't work overtime? Overtime costs more money, Like, it's like, we're going to slow the postal service down until you meet our demands. It's like, people are just going to go elsewhere, FedEx and things like that. You can just use those services. And that's what people do. And they find them faster and cheaper. Unfortunately, Canada Post is a big bloated entity now, and it has a lot of inefficiencies, and it's not existing in reality, True. One thing you never understood about strikes being called off by the government authorities, what happens when the strikers say no? Are they going to arrest them en masse or sue them? Well, I mean, you would just be fired, right? If they go, you're not on strike anymore, and you don't go to work, well, now your employer can fire you because you're not out on illegal strike action. You're just not at work, not doing your job, so they can just fire you. So that's what happens when the government calls it off. I'm striking for what? You don't work for that company anymore. They fired you for not coming to work. You know, like it's that simple. It's that simple. They can't screw with you when you have the legal right to strike, but Millmaster, you watched an episode of X-Files about cubicle workers in a call center being harvested by a hypnotic fly man. Before the dude got postal, the blonde popped her boobs at him, and I'm like, isn't this Hatcher? Wait, what? What? So yeah, I mean, it feels to me like the fucking postal workers don't really have an ability to strike. And strikes rarely seem to work in the current world anyways, you know? It seems like a lot of places will just shut down. They'll be like, eh, you know? Like Walmart, when it's like, we're going to form a union. Close that one down. These Starbucks employees are going on strike. Okay, shut that Starbucks down. You know, like, it feels like striking is something from a previous era where workers could get together and basically force their employees to treat them reasonably. But I think those days are over. You know what I mean? Larry, Canada Post needs to become a package delivery service like Amazon. Amazon's a merchant that sells stuff that also mails things out. So, I mean, Canada Post already is a package delivery service. I don't even get what you're saying, bro. I don't even get what you're saying. The hot blonde in the cubicles flirting with a dude and gets called into the bus and gets sucked dry and turned into a zombie. You know what? It's funny you bring up the X-Files because me and Carly are probably going to watch the X-Files soon. We've got the whole thing now. Juglum, there's no more workers' right. It's take it or leave it. Unless you happen to luck out and work for one of the few companies that actually cares about their employees. But I think for that, you have to work for a small organization. Anything on a higher corporate level is just going to use you up and not care, you know? But yeah, I mean, I don't think the unions work the same way. And there's a lot of people, I don't even think that, like, it used to be people would throw their support behind unions as well, but everybody's so distracted. They're online, focused on their own things or whatever else. So I think that kind of support has eroded. So aside from small corner cases, it's not really going to happen anymore. Heavy metal, you're going to preach tomorrow? Do it, buddy. Slam your hand on the pulpit. Slap it. Slap it down. Oh, you're doing one on Johnny B. Good? Nice. Fuck. Oh, I got the devil in me, boy. Heavy metal, you gotta get up at 7 in the morning. Ugh. Yuck. Larry, nobody writes letters anymore. Yep, that's true. You're saying is they need to get with the times to become a service focused on delivering packages and parcels. Well, I thought that's what they were, though. Mailmaster says, new DLC's out. Yeah, fuck you and your strike. I'm gonna go play Command and Conquer. True. Yep. There is that as well. Unions not reading the room well, and like when people aren't getting very much at all, and then it seems like the demands of the union are out of control. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? I mean, I don't know where the line is, but when you look at Canada Post, it's obvious that what they're doing is unsustainable. And the union's only position is more of what we're doing. No, you can't hire part-time people who work like no part-time people, no people working on the weekends, all this stuff. And it's like, what? Yeah, no, like, listen, we're in a different world now. The whole, like, everything closes down on the weekends. I don't think the bank should be allowed to pull that shit anymore. I don't think the bank should be allowed to pull we're not processing anything on Saturday and Sunday or whatever. You'd process anything that I owe you, right? But no, we're not processing anything. We just shut down and keep all the money for a couple days. And, like, not anymore, man. We're living a 24/7 life now, right? It's not a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday life. It's a 24/7 all day every day kind of life. DJ Longhair, what's up, buddy? Yeah, you missed the squirrels, son. Larry, I mean, Canada Post does Amazon returns, right? You can return your Amazon stuff through there. So there's somewhat. The thing is, some of the services they're offering are adapted to the new world, but just their pay structure and work structure isn't. The world just keeps changing. It is nutty to think how slow things were before, literally having to mail people letters. Like, so many different services, like my bank and whatever, notified me. Canada Post strike might be coming. Just so you know, you're still required to pay all your bills on time. And, like, so it's like for people who are getting mailed paper bills and who are mailing payments in and stuff, which seems wild to me because I'm a fucking dinosaur who still does a bunch of things physically instead of digitally. Like, I still pay for things with physical money a lot of the time because I like using physical money. But, like, everybody's gotten to using cards. So the cashiers are always just like, oh, hold on, I'm going to cancel out that transaction because they automatically expect you to just tap your card, which is super convenient. I will give you that. The convenience is amazing. But I'm definitely still mired in the old world in some ways. I guess I'm becoming more of a boomer every day. Jess, I'm not related more to a fish or a dinosaur. I'm related more to the air. I'm omnipresent and inside you right now. True, you like cash, but sometimes you need the ability to pay online. I find more and more you need to be able to pay digitally. Me and Carly went to this sub place for lunch the one day, and there was a sign that said no cash, debit or credit only. I'm like, this is so weird. It's so weird. Vault cash is good for the underground transactions that don't need visibility. Always have some cash. I will admit that, me having cash on hand is probably a holdover from all the smoky smoke that I used to buy, and you only paid for that in cash. There definitely wasn't a digital trail of, hey, this illegal stuff you're selling me? I'm going to send you digital payments for it. That never really happened. So I just always made sure to have some. It feels weird to not have cash. Just having the rectangles, here we go. I got a plastic rectangle I can tap. Yeah, exactly, Millmaster. Food trucks, drug trucks, women trucks, they all only take cash, man. There is the benefit, of using a credit card and getting points and just paying your credit card off, right? So there is that. I did learn to use credit responsibly. I used to be very irresponsible with it, and now I'm responsible. So it is advantageous a lot of the time to use the card, but it just feels normal to me to pay in cash, even if that does require the extra step of having to head to a physical building and get the physical cash out of it. I mean, the amount of money you're going to have on you in cash and the interest rates being, it's not like you're losing a whole bunch of money by having it in cash. Oh my God, the interest rates are insane and you'd be dumb to have this money out of the bank. It's like, it's fine. It's fine in my wallet. I like having a little satchel of change, boys. Yeah, exactly, Vault. You're just like, yo, thanks for the cocaine, bro. It's like, don't put that. Mailmaster, what? People getting busted for buying stuff digitally? Got it, you're 100% card. You make so much free money doing that and instantly paying it off. I'm old world. I like using cash. I like it. But, you know, it's true. You do get the reward points. I don't get amazing reward points because I don't have like an amazing credit card. I have the basic credit card. But considering how badly I messed up my credit in my 20s, I was really dumb in my 20s. And in my 30s, I had to smarten up and fix all that. And then in my 40s, now I've learned those lessons. So I never really carry a balance on a credit card at all. The only time I let my credit card sit for a little while and try and figure out the balance is if too many transactions have gone on it and I can't figure if I've already overpaid it. So I've just got to wait for some to like work through the chain and I can go, okay. Because it can be annoying to try and figure it out when you have a bunch of transactions pending and it tells you the amount overall, but you're just sitting there going, when was the last payment I put on? Where are we doing? Just, there we go. That's the reality I want to live in, where I'm omnipresent and have more money than Musk. Infinite live streams, more money than God. Yes, please. Yes, please. Larry, when you bought your first car, you used a line of credit, made sure to pay off a little bit every month until it was all paid off. Well, when you can use lines of credit responsibly, it's great. Credit is fantastic when you have control, when you're paying attention. But like 20-year-old Mike was all about, it's future Mike's problem. That was how I operated. I'm going to do what I want, however I want, and I'm smart. I'll figure it out in the future. It'll be future Mike's problem. And I just kept like ostrich head in the sand. It'll be future Mike's problem. It'll be future Mike's problem. And then it mounted and mounted until it got to the point where it's like, I have to deal with this now. I can't believe how badly I screwed myself. This is insane. So like I developed the new philosophy of how do I make future Mike's life more comfortable, which has its own downsides where it's like, when you're only focused on having a good time now and you'll figure it out in the future, you're living in the moment and you're having a good time, which is great. And yeah, it's going to suck later, but it's great now. But when you need to plan for the future version of yourself, you can just get too caught up in, I'm not going to have enough to do this, or this part of my future is going to suck. And you get too far out into the future and then it sucks too. And you don't want that either. Quick, what's up? Is the Final Fantasy pre-release worth attending? That's a very personal decision because it's going to be costly. I love pre-releases. I absolutely want to go to the Final Fantasy pre-release. So in my books, it's something worth going to. But you've got to compare the price to your current situation. And, I mean, Magic is getting to that point where the stuff is getting too pricey. You know? Like, I was thinking about that today because there's a bunch of expenses mounting up. Carly's got multiple medical things that need to get taken care of. She needs to go in for what's it called? Physical rehabilitation therapy or whatever, right? And that's not covered with Canadian healthcare. And then there's dental stuff too. So she's got to get multiple things and a night guard. So there's a whole bunch of things coming up. And like that stuff is pricey. And when I compare stuff like Magic getting as expensive as it is, it's just like, it's definitely going to reach the point where I'm probably not going to be able to get do anything with Magic anymore at all. You know, like it's gotten to the point where I went from booster box, bundle, pre-release, all of it, to bundle, pre-release, to now maybe pre-release. So you got to make a personal decision based on your resources and how much fun you're going to have, you know? God, are you getting $50 a month for free? That's awesome. I would love that. That's amazing. Wildfire, you had 10 grand in credit card debt as a teen, early 20s. Bro, I got up into like 30 G's or something like that. It was some insane amount of debt. And apparently I could have just declared bankruptcy and gotten that all written off. But I went with a consumer proposal where you make monthly payments and you pay back a portion of the overall debt, and then it's all considered resolved or whatever. And it's not the same as a full-on bankruptcy. And if I'd gone the bankruptcy route, it would have been a lot cheaper money-wise. But I don't think that I would have learned my lesson the same way. So the years that it took me to pay back that debt and to get into the habit of, first of all, not accruing any more debt, and secondly, just like paying it down, I learned a lot from that. It was an expensive lesson, but it was also a valuable one. What up, Kentucky? Andrew, you like to watch kids struggle to make change. Larry, instant gratification is a trap. Yup, it absolutely can be. True. See, I avoid using credit as much as possible, but having a credit card is super handy for like hotel rooms and other things. So it's definitely made things easier in some ways. Like if Carly needs to go and pick something up for us and I'm not around, then it's not like, okay, how am I supposed to get cash from you? She can just use my card instead. So that is convenient. Lasagna! It's Memorial Day weekend. Is it? Well, enjoy, buddy. Enjoy. Jess, you're only in debt a month behind. That's like, that's basically just the definition of like living paycheck to paycheck, right? True, took you years to get out of debt. You had no plans on going back to the cycle. You can use credit without getting into debt. That's the thing. I use a credit card specifically only to get things that I already have the money for. But never to buy things that I don't have the money for. The only thing that I would put on a credit card that I didn't have money for at the time would be healthcare related shit. Because that's my number one. That's my number one priority. Is making sure that all of the health stuff is taken care of for me and my lady. Because it really does make a big difference. The quality of your health really does very much define the quality of your life in a lot of ways, right? Like, it just puts caps on a bunch of other things in terms of like how high quality it can be. Jess, you haven't found anything that yours doesn't cover except physiotherapy and chiropractic. Yeah, physiotherapy, that's what Carly needs. So that's not covered. There is no government coverage for that whatsoever, unfortunately. So yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Larry, you like watching gambling addicts rage as they lose all their money on stake? Financial literacy is part of the reason you have money and they don't. Being financially literate is massive, bro. It's massive. It's a skill they don't really teach you in high school at all, which is crazy. But the thing is, you can tell people this stuff. Some people just have to experience it, you know? Jess, yeah, it is expensive. It is. Physiotherapy and chiropractic stuff is expensive. It is what it is, though, you know? Carly's got problems, and I want to help her as much as I can, so I'm gonna do what I can. What up, Rodney? How you doing? Yamagoro deliveries are hopping tonight. Nice, make that cheddar, buddy. Master, what? To see to bleed cannot be taught? I don't know, man. It's, we all go through it to some degree or another where we think we know what's up or we're not ready for particular lessons, and well-meaning people who've already experienced it can tell us, do this, your life will be better. And you just be like, cool, but it doesn't register. It doesn't mean anything, you know? Rodney, Yigra puts a target on your back. Of course it does. You just turned everybody's dudes into foods. So yeah, some people are going to be smarter with money to begin with, and some people are going to be dumb and stumble with it, right? And I was definitely dumb. Dumb and self-indulgent and wasteful. Now I gain more pleasure from using my money in a more intelligent fashion, you know? Where obviously you still get things you enjoy, but knowing that I can take care of a dental visit for me or my lady is actually really high on the excitement chain for me. John, are there sirens in the background? Yes. Yes. Habanero, you thanked your pop for educating you as a kid and teen on having financial stability. Growing up, you thought it was common sense, but you realize now it's not as common as you once thought. Yeah, you lucked out, man. I mean, to be fair to my parents, my mom tried really hard to teach me some useful lessons that I just did not grasp. So a lot of things that happened to get me in as deep a debt as I was in actually isn't legal to do anymore. The credit card companies literally can't do to other people what they did to me. And I'm glad for it, because it's really easy to find yourself in a fucking hole that way. Peace out, True. What up, DeVoe? Larry says, I took a course on money in 2013. A book I recommend is Easy Money. That way you'll have money for super chats. There we go. Now we're thinking. Vault, you went the path of dumb and suffering, but you had a kick-ass zebra rug when you got your first credit card. It's fine. It's fine to be young and dumb, right? Like, everybody's got to make mistakes. And if your mistakes are financial ones and not ones that cause permanent damage to your body, then you're winning. You know? There are people who have made really bad choices and completely destroyed themselves at a young age. And it's just brutal to see. Just brutal. So, I mean, am I annoyed at my younger self for hosing me? Yes. But now it goes in the opposite direction, where I can thank myself for putting in the effort to make life better. And now I'm doing the next step of that, which is I'm moving into the next level of taking care of my actual fucking fat body, so I won't be a fat boy anymore. It's going to take time, because I'm doing it the normal, healthy way, and I'm not going to do it with crazy drugs or whatever, but it's all got a knock-on effect, right? So that's the next step. That's the next step for me. Larry, there was a show called Till Debt Do Us Part. I don't think I've seen that. Jess, you put $300 in for a car and got $1,050 for it when it crashed. Well, then I guess you won, buddy. Juggalo, you believe in me? Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Somebody's got to. Millmaster, pick a bad week to stop sniffing glue. There's never a bad week to stop sniffing glue. Nah, man, there's some people I know who just destroyed themselves, and it's sad. You only get the one go around, right? And like that, what's the expression? Health is wealth or something like that? The game store owner, he had to sell his game store and couldn't do it anymore. And I talked to him on the phone and asked how he was doing, and he just like Well, you know what they say. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And it was just like, this is pretty bleak. The next time I saw him, he was in a wheelchair, and then he was just fucking dead. And it's like, God damn, man. Like, I don't think that he stayed healthy and active. And I'm not saying that that would have been the difference between him making it or not, but it could have been. And I see like different variations of old people wandering around, and some of them seem pretty spry and they're doing all right and moving around on their own. And some of them seem like moving nightmares. And I just do not want to be in the nightmare category if I can avoid it, you know? Habanero, you feel like I've already done a pretty decent job at losing weight. You can see it in my face. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. I lost weight before, right? Like, at the beginning, I was super thin. I was unhealthily thin at the beginning of this whole YouTube thing. And then I got fat, and then I got thin, and now I'm fat again. I'm fat now, Habanero. I'm genuinely fat. I'm a fat man, okay? Like, I am overweight. It's just because there's so many gigantic people in society now, and being fat has become so normalized that I don't look that fat. I look like a fat man from like a movie from the 70s or 80s where they call him Fat Billy, and they're always making fat jokes and asking him if he wants pie. But by today's standards, you'd be like, I don't know, he barely counts as fat. Because today's standards of fat are like 600-pound trundle bust. I have to move my gut around in a wheelbarrow, right? Millmaster, when you slow down, you go down? Oh, wait. You do what now? You run until you suck dick, bro? Is that what you're saying? No, I saw some interesting stuff. I saw some interesting stuff on the subject. Carly says, exactly, looks have changed society. I don't look like a person with elderly hypertension, but here we are. Carly's got too much salt. She doesn't know that I spoon salt into her mouth every night while she's asleep. Big fat tablespoons of salt straight into her mouth while she's sleeping. Just massage the jaws. Swallow all that salt. My plan is to turn her into 100% saline. She is going to be 100% human salt, bro. That's the plan. That's the plan. And then I will bury her somewhere and say, I found an entire new kind of salt. And I will sell it for very high prices. Carly says, living with Mike is aging her. It's true. It's true. We got to do a GoFundMe so that we can get Carly enough money to leave me and have a good life somewhere else. I'm pretty sure whenever I think about Carly having a good life, the first step is leaving me. You know? Like, that's the first step. So we got to help her with that so she can go on and lead the happy life that she's always wanted to leave. Andrew Lot's wife, pillars of wife. Carly says we need Carly support checks instead of child support. That's right. We got to make this a global thing. We got to make it a global thing. Gotta watch that sodium. So yeah, we'll have to do some interviews. We'll have to find a good man for Carly and find her a good place to live. Get her a good start. Get her a good start, a fresh start on a fresh life. Oh. All right, my friends. Thanks for coming and hanging out. If you missed the deck unboxing, it will be going up over on the live stream channel, so you can check that out at your leisure. Oh, Bo Falcon says, I support you, Carly. We all do. Bo Falcon, doing his part to get Carly on to her next life with a better man. All right? All right? We can do it. We can make it happen. Let me update the board before we depart here, Bo. Bo Falcon flying in with the goodness. Oh. So yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out, my friends. We will be back together soon, but for now, I go into the waters of the underworld. The river Styx and the river's running through Hatcher. Ba, 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 ba.